Hey there, so I'm going to do a quick video on the half-life of caffeine. Now, the mean half-life is around 5 hours, which means it takes 5 hours for, if you drink a coffee and that caffeine is in your body, it will take 5 hours for half of it to get out of your system. So half of that coffee will still be affecting you 5 hours later. But this can vary tremendously between people, and it seems it's between 1.5 to 9.5 hours, the range of half-life. I think I'm probably on the later end because caffeine affects me quite heavily. The genes are responsible for this half-life. So one gene in particular is a CYP1A2 gene. I don't know if there's more genes that affect it, but this is a significant one. And this determines how quickly you metabolize caffeine in your liver and affects the half-life. Now, I imagine your heritage, or I imagine this gene is more prevalent in places which originally had coffee, could grow coffee. So maybe Africa or Arabic countries, I imagine a gene might be more prevalent there. Just how I believe in the European countries, the gene to metabolize milk, lactose, is more prevalent. But I don't know that. No, I don't know that off the top of my head, but that's what I'd imagine. So how can this affect you? So for example, well, if your half-life is 9.5 hours, that's not great. But let's say it's 5 hours and you have a coffee, let's say it's 100 milligrams of caffeine. Let's say you drink it at 11:30. It's absorbed by 12. So by 5 o'clock, 5 hours later, half of that coffee is still in your system, say 50 milligrams of caffeine. And then 5 hours later, then you will have 25 milligrams. So you'll have a quarter of that coffee. Now, this can obviously get a bit more complex if you're having multiple cups of coffee. You can still work it out, but it's a bit more complex. Or if you're having coffee quite late in the day, you can see how the half-life is quite long, the mean half-life. So if you're going to bed at, let's say, 10, you're still going to have a quarter cup of coffee left in your system, and this can affect your deep sleep, how easily you can go to sleep, whether you wake up, and this can in turn affect your mood and how you feel and a few other things. So it's just important to, consider that, take that into account. I imagine you're not going to know your exact half-life of caffeine excretion unless you go to a lab or get your genes tested. I don't know if that's available. It might be, but it could be very useful if you know it. And then also your weight as well. So if you're heavier, you're probably going to need more caffeine to get the same stimulating effect. But yeah, I think that pretty much summarize it. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to put a NCBI link where it talks about the pharmacology of caffeine. This is what I've been referencing for the video. So I'll put that there. You can give it a read yourself and look into a bit more if you want. Okay, great. Thanks.